welcome to the stage, CEO of Koibanx. Koibanx are going to be telling us about onboarding the next 10,000 developers, specifically in Latam.
Exactly.
Awesome.
There it is.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, I must say, after last presentation here, the 10K might seem a little less than the 10 million, right? But the truth is, we have a tremendous gap in Latin America on how to bring people on blockchain technology. What I want to present you here is telling you a little bit on our background. I've been in the crypto space since 2013, specifically trying to build the traditional world into blockchain tech. And why in Latin America, it's probably one of the biggest questions that makes sense for blockchain technology to develop. So what you're about to see, it's the outline of a platform Koibanx is launching next year. Its name's called Koibanx Build, that will enable, in a nutshell, for any developer that is not savvy in blockchain technology to start coding top-level blockchain products directly on the Algorand protocol. So a little bit overview in the Latam ecosystem. Latam today has a little over 660 million people. Out of those, 1 million are developers. That's a very small percentage when compared to other areas. Out of those 1 million developers, only 50%, over 50% are not knowledgeable in blockchain coding. And on the other side, you have that Latin America has, and this is already known metrics, a little over of 60% of the population that it's unbanked. More than half of every transaction takes place in cash, and you get almost 3% of the entire region's GDP that it's relying on remittances. And when you take that to specific countries, such as El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, it's even above 12% on 30% of the country's GDP. So if you ask me, this is like a perfect recipe for crypto, for blockchain adoption, for blockchain products, for building on a blockchain infrastructure in the region. However, when you talk to these developers, and this is a sample taken out of 2,000 developers distributed equally in the region, in terms of developers per population, these are the answers you get when you ask them how they interact with blockchain technology. More than 50% of these developers are not savvy in blockchain coding. And when you double-click on why is that happening, you find reasons like these ones. And truth to be told, they make sense. I mean, some of the reasons are, I don't have the time. Other of the reasons is, basically, I don't know how to apply it quite yet. And when you really get into the deep of that, you'll see that you're a developer, fresh out of college, or a hackathon or a bootcamp, whatever you want to call it. You need to choose your protocol. You need to understand how to manage keys, custodial, non-custodial, hybrid approach, whatever you want. You need to understand how to manage fuel. You need to understand how to manage security. All of that while you're either studying or building your own startup or working at a company. So these tech disruptions like the blockchain, they, at some point, represent a barrier, an entrance barrier for a lot of these developers. And it's understandable. So how do we make blockchain programming easy in one of the regions that needs it the most? So this is there's a clicker. We also conducted a survey on which of the formal education organizations in Latin America have already blockchain programming in their curricula. And by having in their curriculum, I'm not meaning like an extra curricular course, a talk, a panel, like they're actually teaching tech students how to code or how to interact with blockchain protocols. 6. Only 6 in the entire Latin America. And when you double-click what they are teaching, having some issues with the clicker, there you go. Basically, this is what you find in their curriculum. Ethereum, okay, I'll give you that. But then you have BitChain, Hyperledger, and in Argentina you have Blockchain Federal Argentina, which is not even a blockchain. I'll say that. I have trouble myself recognizing most of these are blockchain protocols. So you got a region that has the most need for blockchain programming, developers that have trouble onboarding blockchain coding, very few institutions actually teaching, and what they are teaching is not actually blockchain tech when you go really into that. A little bit on our trajectory and what are we planning to do about this. Koibanx has 7 years tokenizing asset and integrating payment rails in the region, operating in Mexico, Colombia, El Salvador, Argentina, and Uruguay, growing in Central America this coming year. We have countries in more than 9 countries. We are connected to credit card processing companies, APIs, different blockchain protocols. We worked out of these 7 years. We worked with Ethereum, we worked with RSK, Bitcoin, Lightning Network. We also did Hyperledger, not proud of that. Also worked with Polygon. So everything we've done, and we came to the conclusion that Algorand was the best blockchain in terms of capacity for what we're needing. The problem is how to onboard those developers to Algorand, once again. Some more numbers of what we've done or what we have available in our platform right now. We are tokenizing over a billion assets, 4 on and off ramps in the region, integrating to, again, different credit card processing companies, 1 exchange license. And all of this we've done learning protocol by protocol, testing our smart contracts, and making it usable and ready to deploy mainnet for top quality banks, governments, and different organizations. So just for you to stay with me, getting the context in the region, the need for this type of technology, the lack of education and proper tooling, at least widespread, and what we have done at Koibanx, this is what we decided to do. We are opening our APIs, launching Koibanx Build, a developer-faced-oriented platform for any developer to start coding directly on Algorand, testnet, and mainchain, without having to know Thiel, without having to know Golang, directly using our methods, our tested contracts, our APIs, to be able to launch, for instance, an NFT marketplace, a stable coin, to call our contracts and integrate that to credit cards, to issue your own security tokens, without having to go through all of the trouble of understanding key management, fuel, different security methods, protocol selection, all of that made easy and made available at an API level for any developer in the region. Make it easier to build in blockchain is the way to take Latin America out of this situation. Again, more than half of the transactions take place in cash, more than 60% of the population underbanked, 3% of the entire region GDP depending on remittances, and only 6 education organizations teaching how to build on the technology that actually solves this stuff. So this is our little sand grain to contribute to the ecosystem. We are already working with some early adopters. They are starting to implement Koibanx Build in their tech labs, in their curricula, in their courses, to get these students, these future coders, these future hackers into Algorand blockchain directly without having to go through all the low-level coding that most of us that have some years in the ecosystem had to go through. And as per our educated guess, if I may, on the service that we've done and the people that we've been working with, my commitment to the Algorand ecosystem, to you all here in Decipher 2022 and for next year, is to onboard 10k developers for next year building on Algorand in production directly. Thank you there. So we'll be around with our team over here. Feel free to come chat with us, to subscribe. We are beta opening the platform for the first developers as from December this year, January next year, a second launch. So whoever wants to try it will be more than happy to do so. Particularly aimed to Latin America, but looking forward to widespread it as well. It will be a delight to get to know you, to get you on board the platform or reference. Thank you very much for staying to the very end. It's been a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to see you all. Thank you.
Leo Elduayen, thank you so much for being with us today and for what you're building. The Koibanx build is something that's brand new to me, and I am super excited to see this announcement. I didn't know that this was coming, and I'm really excited for the devs to get out there and do this. So thank you very much for all that you add to our ecosystem, mate. Brilliant.
We'll do it.